This is for you, Sagittarius. Get ready for the annular solar eclipse occurring on the 1st, as well as the penumbral lunar eclipse occurring on the 16th of this month. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. You can contact us by visiting www.readingsbyrosemary.com, where we provide you with information on our spiritual consultations, our psychic astrology, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, as well as classes and upcoming seminars. The annual solar eclipses do not completely envelop the disk of the sun. This current one occurs in the sign of Virgo the Virgin, and it has a divine tone of I analyze during a new moon, which serves to accentuate the effects of the current north node in Virgo, with the moon in its apogee having the result of causing a distancing of emotionality. So that's your feelings and all your right brain artistic abilities that are sort of going to be in a state of rest during this juncture, and it'll become more enlivened and come back up to par later on in months to come, when there's not so much going on in the sign of logic and the analytical skills of Virgo. Now the moon, the sun, and the earth will be completely aligned during this event, so it's important to keep that in mind. This penumbral lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces the fish, having the divine tone of I believe during a full moon, will cast a diffuse shadow upon the moon, and although this is not as intense as when you take a bite out of the moon, as is seen when there's a partial lunar eclipse, or it doesn't have the melodramatic effect of making the moon look like it's been dipped in blood that occurs when there's a total lunar eclipse. Still yet, there's going to be still an effect that you'll notice, although not as intensely. The effect of previously planted stealthy seeds, remember it's kind of shady, a shady event, sure to bloom later, although most likely not probably in the manner that the engineer of such seeds had in mind. Rounding off the month is a second new moon event on the 30th in the sign of Libra, which occurs for those who are making their calculations based on Eastern Daylight Time. But sky watchers that are using Greenwich Mean Time are going to have to wait till the 1st of next month in order to have this phase in Libra, where the moon is in Libra. That'll be the new moon in Libra, but again, that'll be different if you're using Greenwich Mean Time. Now, Jupiter transits direct through the sign of Virgo. So there's another Virgo aspect from the 1st to the 8th of the month, affecting Sagittarius in your 10th house of social standing and fame. Now, because currently this transit affects the archer in a way that is still going to deal with others in a way, that's more clear cut. So it's not going to be dodgy. It'll be straightforward and clear cut with the 10th house issues of fame and fortune. And this is going to be especially noticeable and especially true in regard to your social contacts, particularly those that hold sway over your standing in the community. So that's going to be very important. Now, other folks wanting to improve their economic reputation respond well to you during this direct journey of Jupiter, and you to them. Feel free to make deals, but be aware that others are not easy to trust at this time, needing much assurance in their lives for both these financial topics and also social topics that they feel are extremely important to them and must be handled with all prudence and delicacy. Now, beginning on the 9th of the month, Jupiter ingresses into the sign of Libra, the scales influencing Sagittarius in your 11th house of friends and reputation. This ingress will travel direct, adding ascension and expansion of your associations with others, as well as your standing in the community at large. The planet Jupiter is associated in Kabbalah with the Sephirah of Chesed, where we find the planetary archangel Zadkiel, Hesediel, and Sachiel. Kabbalah teaches us that this Sephirah and the archangel Zadkiel, or it's really pronounced here, and because it's the way it's spelled, this can be where the angel names get very precise, sort of like DNA gets very precise. Zadkiel is associated with both mercy and memory. Zadkiel is known as the righteousness of God. He is sometimes identified as the angel of the Lord. And this is in Genesis chapter 22, 11 to 12. And behold, an angel of the Lord from heaven called to him, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he answered, Here I am. And he said to him, Lay not thy hand upon the boy, neither do thou anything to him. No, now I know that thou fearest God, and hast not spared thy only begotten son for my sake. Jupiter is known as the attribute of God, the Father, found in Isaiah 63:16, For thou art our Father, and Abraham hath not known us, and Israel hath been ignorant of us. Thou, O Lord, art our Father, our Redeemer, from everlasting is thy name. Sagittarius, Mars continues direct through your sign from the 1st to the 26th, affecting you with sort of, it's going to cause you to become more enlivened. You're going to feel more vital, and that's going to give you a lot more energy. You're going to also feel very willful. And the power is going to come to your first house of yourself and appearances. Now, Mars is quick and energetic, on the move, and is patient as what is afforded you by Saturn. Because Saturn is although it's a very quick planet, it takes a long time. It's got it takes a long time. So that's why it sometimes rushes. But in the age of Aquarius, Saturn, because of all that has to deal with all of the humanitarian aspects and the secular aspects, even though Saturn will want to speed up that Saturnian influence, the law, it's going to have to slow down a little bit, because everybody has to be taken into account. When everybody's taken into account, if you don't slow down, something will get lost in translation. So that's more of a choice. Now, practice staying cool, calm, and collected. And that's a cliche, but it's timely right now. Okay, now Sagittarius needs to remember that Saturn transits direct in your sign all month long, which generates straightforward relationships with Capricorn and Aquarius, family and friends. You must see yourself as gullible during this time, but that's not the way others see you. You're going to see yourself as gullible. That's just the way it is because of these astrological attributes. But you need to remember that's not the way other people characterize you. Confidence and trust in yourself breeds independence. And that's going to be something you're going to see a lot of during this time. Now keep in mind that Saturn is not your ruling planet, but this transit does have prominent sway over your notions about yourself and your first house issues, causing you to look for more enjoyable ways to keep in touch with other people. We have an Enochian angel prediction for you at the end of this video, so stay right here. Don't go anywhere. Now, let's see how your ruling planet of Jupiter affects you this month, Sagittarius. Your fire guardian archangel Michael speaks to you from your Sagittarius astrology archangel Adnachiel. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Sagittarius zodiac angel Adnachiel, who resides over the Archer's mutable fire, and here are his messages for you in love, money, and health. First, Adnachiel's love, rapture, and romance transmission. A woman who loves truth, being an Aquarius, and another woman being a Capricorn who possesses great efficiency, they're going to ask you for a favor or for assistance this month in climbing the ladder of success, desiring to reach the heights of the heavens. When it comes to people they want as friends and spouses. Your attention to detail and avoidance of making mistakes soon generates opportunities for promotion. If you don't know how to romance someone that you have your sights set on for marriage, you should consult Song of Solomon 2:4-5. He brought me into the cellar of wine. He set in order charity in me. Stay me up with flowers. Compass me about with apples, because I languish with love. Nachiel's money and wealth transmission is next. Look for hints from Scorpios how to make sure you have plenty of money in your karmic bank account, ready for use if you choose to reincarnate back into physical reality next time around. Now, there are some verses that the Council of Nicaea left in the Bible that show you that the early Christians taught reincarnation, and indeed that's taught in the Zohar. So it is in the Bible, but we'll get to this next month, because it's a deep subject. Now, there were a lot of passages that were taken out of the Bible that related to reincarnation and many other things. And there were a lot of books that were taken out of the Bible, like the Gospel of St. Thomas and the Gospel of Judas, and some of these other people that really give a lot of information about how things really occurred during that time and what really went on. But anyway, that's a deep topic for another time. We can't get into that right now, right here, not at this time. We'll get to that later on, though. Now, when making deals with people, make sure that you know where their moon is and where their rising signs are, so you know how to handle them and how they handle money. Because people really, where do they put their money? They don't use their head when they're using money. They think they do, but they don't. They always go with their emotions. They're going to go with their emotions. Women are going to go with their heart, and men are going to go with what they think is going to help them, either with some kind of getting ahead in some way. Some of them see it as a way to get ahead in their status. It's very important to men, financially. Even their sexual escapades have to do with elevating their status. That's what they're looking for. Men are looking what's going to elevate their finances, their money, and get them ahead. They're looking for what's going to make them look good, and what's going to make other people think well of them. And women are going to come from their hearts and wanting you to think that they're a good person and all of this. So you have to understand that that's where people are coming from. Now, there's going to be some variations because some women have masculine sun signs and rising signs and moon signs, and some men have feminine ones. So it gets very particular. And indeed, you are a little snowflake, unique in time and space, and space-time. All right, now, my paternal grandfather used to tell me to give to the poor in all modesty without fanfare. Considered Matthew 6:2. Therefore, when thou dost an alms seed, sound not a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be honored by men. I say to you, they have received their reward. Nevertheless, my grandpa used to also say that when we tithe to God, this should be done with a generous spirit. So that's very important, a generous spirit. Let's look at Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe mint and anise, cumin, and have left the weightier things of the law, judgment and mercy and faith. These things you ought to have done, and not to leave those undone. Now, for Nachiel's health and fitness transmission for you, we have what you need to look out for this month is a Taurus woman interested in vibrant health and ultimate fitness to want to increase her longevity and strength this month. Abundant riches are offered by those with powerful attributes in the sign of Taurus the Bull towards anyone who guarantees their prosperity through various businesses involved in promoting vitality and endurance. These individuals will want to partner up with the Archer for help and guidance when it comes to the business of health, or the businesses of health and wellness and sports medicine. Any kind of, yoga, spas, exercise equipment, or exercise attire, those kind of things, fashion. There's so many things that go, that can go in this category. So live long and prosper, Sagittarius. Okay, now my maternal grandmother used to give me advice from Scripture regarding health. We read in the book of Proverbs 16:24-25, well-ordered words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth to a man right, and the ends thereof lead to death. So you want to listen to your grandmother in the book of Proverbs, not to what men say. Now this month we have the Enochian angel prediction for you to look for a Virgo man to enter your life this month who is able to cause astonishing healings and unheard of longevity in those who will simply trust him in his sound advice. He is meticulous and has only your best interests at heart, so do his bidding this month for spectacular miracles to flow from heaven towards the earth and her people. A disclaimer is in order here. High magic can be dangerous. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Remember to chant your divine tone of I perceive, or try out the higher aspect of simply meditating on the quality of perceiving, and be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Sagittarius. Now for the ephemeris calculations for Eastern and Greenwich Mean Time, we have first Eastern Daylight Time. We have the new moon on the 1st of September, that's 2016, at 5:03 a.m. at 9 degrees Virgo, 21 minutes, and that's the annular solar eclipse that occurs on a new moon. The full moon that occurs on the penumbral lunar eclipse, the full moon, that's when you have a lunar eclipse, is when you have a full moon. Okay, on the 16th of September, 2016, at 3:04 p.m. at 24 degrees Pisces, 19 minutes. That's the penumbral lunar eclipse. That's 3 of 3 lunar eclipses in 2016. There's also, if you're using Eastern Daylight Time, you'll notice that the new moon is on the 30th of September 2016 at 8:12 p.m. at 8 degrees Libra, 15 minutes. Now for Greenwich Mean Time, we have a new moon on the 1st of September 2016 at 9:04 a.m. at 9 degrees Virgo, 21 minutes. Also, there's a full moon on the 16th of September 2016 at 7:06 p.m. at 24 degrees Pisces, 20 minutes. Now that's the penumbral lunar eclipse. That's 3 of 3 eclipses in 2016. Note that the new moon in Libra occurs on the 1st of October, and that's 2016 if you're using Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Remember, we love you guys, and please join us again next month.
You can have anything you like, it's your fantasy. You can have it any way you want, your fantasy. You can have anything you like, it's your fantasy.